What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel, Quarantined Clean. I created this channel during the quarantine, during the shutdown, to provide a platform for voices in marginalized communities, such as the recovery community. I got to sit down and have a very insightful conversation with a friend of mine who also happens to be a coworker, who also happens to be a woman of trans experience. We got to have an in-depth talk about what her transition is like. We get to discuss some of the stigmas that kind of circle around the trans community and the LGBTQ community. So we got some really important information for you guys, right? Because the whole point of this video was to inform people, right? And give people an opportunity to hear a voice that they may typically not hear. So I hope you guys enjoy. Hit follow, hit like, hit share, hit subscribe so that you can stay up to date on everything on my channel. All right, without further ado, enjoy. All right, Nay, how are you?
I'm doing all right. How are
excited?
You? I am.
We're finally doing this?
We are doing this.
I know. It's been a long time coming.
It has been a long time.
And I think the world wants to know a whole lot about you.
And I'm ready to tell y'all.
Okay, so here we go. First question. What are your pronouns?
So my pronouns are she, her, but also them and they.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Now we know. Right? Where were you born?
I was born in Baltimore, Maryland.
Baltimore, Maryland.
Yes, I'm an East Coast girl.
East Coast?
Yeah.
I know that's right.
Yeah.
I've spent some time in the East Coast too, but never Maryland though. Yeah. Just New York City.
It's okay. Baltimore's teeny tiny.
Yeah.
It's a big city and a teeny tiny package.
I heard they have good crabs.
I'm allergic as frack.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
So you can't have crabs?
I can't even eat it. It's terrible.
Well, you can wear blue though.
I can wear blue. And blue's my favorite color.
Well, it works on you.
I love it.
It works on you.
I love it.
Next question. Tell me a little bit about your childhood.
Childhood was crazy, right? So I'm a former foster kid, right? I'm a former runaway, right? Just to give some tidbit, you know, in terms of where I come from and what I've gone through a little bit, right? So, I lived in a variety. There was one foster home that I was in for the longest, right? But ultimately, I was in a variety of foster homes and group homes.
Wow.
So it was, it was something else for sure.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah, it was colorful.
Colorful.
Yeah,
that's a nice way to put it. So have you always known? Well, first off, how do you identify? Right. Who are you? Are you a woman? Are you a drag queen? Are you a trans woman? Or what are you?
So I am a black trans. Well, actually, I'm going to put it this way. I am a black woman of the trans experience.
A black woman of the trans experience. Y'all heard that?
Woman of the trans experience.
Beautiful, yes. Beautiful. And so my next question was going to be, how long have you known that you were trans? Or have you always known? Did you just discover this now? Like, when did that start for you?
So, it's okay. So it started in the way that I've always known myself as a feminine being, right? I've spent much of my life at least attempting, horribly, but attempting to kind of combat the femininity, right? And there were even times where I tried to maybe enhance it a little bit, like, well, fuck it, that's just the way I am.
You can curse, right. It's fine.
Okay. So I'll be 40. I'll be 50, right? In a couple of years. Yeah, I'll be 50 in a couple of years.
Yeah, black don't crack.
Don't crack.
Even black trans don't crack.
So transgender is fairly new terminology, right? It was to me. It is for me anyway, right? I feel like these young kids have come along and they've given names to things that have always been there, right? And let me back it up a little bit, right? Because what I would have been known as, we'll say back in the day, right, would be a transsexual. Right?
I think I've heard that term.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. But I don't think that's appropriate, right? Because It's my gender that's in question.
Got it.
Right.
Got it. As opposed to sexuality.
As opposed to sexuality.
Got you.
Right?
Got you.
I've always been attracted to men. Right.
Clear.
But the package, right? The package has always been, it's been a woman on the inside, right? I don't want to say that I came in the wrong body. I just want to say I came in the wrong package, right? I came in a package that just didn't match, right? And I say that way because I don't hate what I was. It just didn't fit, right?
Yeah.
I had some positive experiences in that package, right? It wasn't all terrible. It was hard.
So that package,
right?
it was like dressing like a boy, taking on masculine
at least attempting
characteristics.
to. Right.
Okay.
Facial hair.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
It just never really matched, right? Like, in fact, if I'm honest, one of my favorite holidays, or I guess it's a holiday, was Halloween, right? Because then I could do this, right? A lot less. It was a lot less of this, right? But it was more of a caricature of this.
Gotcha.
But it was still an opportunity to express that thing.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Because I always wanted to be pretty, right? I didn't want to be necessarily like a caricature, even though I just said that. But I wanted to be pretty, right? And I wanted to be soft, and I wanted to just be like feminine,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And there was that one day of the year where you could do that, right? It was like Christmas,
right?
in October, right? But this is who I am, right? This is who I've always been, right?
So basically, from jump.
From jump.
Beautiful.
Right.
Beautiful.
Right.
Okay. If you were to describe transitioning, can you give me 3 words that would just kind of overall describe what that feels like for you? 3 words.
Frightening. Relief. And authenticity.
Wow. I mean, when you said frightening, at first I'm like, what? But no, that makes total effing sense, right? Because, I mean, I can't even imagine what that must feel like to be something on the inside and then not express that in the physicality.
Right, and fight it.
And then knowing how the society is today, especially being our color, you know, that's got to be terrifying. Right. But then on the other side of that, relief. Wow. Right.
Relief.
Wow.
Because I look in the mirror and I see that, right? And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's right. You know, that's who I am. Right. On the other hand, well, not even on the other hand, but another element of that, right, is I'm gonna get a little bit, you know.
Go ahead. People are ready.
There have been a lot of girls like me, particularly girls of color like me, of the trans experience, who have lost their lives, right?
A lot.
Who have been beaten up.
Yep.
Right? Not that long ago, for me to express and walk down the street could have meant a butt whipping, right?
Or death.
Yeah. Right? Something broken. Right? Something broken. Right? Just because. Right? So, if I were going to throw another word in there, it would be grateful, right? Because the world is changing, not quickly enough. But the world is changing.
I heard that. That was beautiful. Thank you. So, let me ask you this. So, I want to kind of break down some of the stigma and stereotypes around the transgender community, right? And, you know, just full disclosure, we're not going to fake it for y'all. We're keeping it raw. We're keeping it real. We're getting to the truth, right? And the truth is there's some stigma, right? And so I want to ask you, have you had any experiences with addiction? Because a lot of people assume that transgender people are addicted to drugs and crazy. Right. So have you had any experiences with addiction?
So, well, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use a term that Kenny taught me, and I'm gonna keep it a stack.
That's right. Hey.
You know, by the grace of God, by the grace of the universe, no. Right? I have dabbled, right? I have partied, I've drank, I've done things, right? But I've always had the ability to put those things down, right?
Unlike me, because I'm an addict in recovery. I couldn't put it down. But
and it's kicking ass about it, too.
Yeah. Oh,
right?
Thank you.
Taking names, even.
But this is about you, though.
But this is, yeah.
So you got to you've somehow managed, not somehow managed, you just weren't an addict, right? You just
I just wasn't an addict. But, right, like understanding that recovery, right? Recovery is a broad thing, right? And I am a person in recovery, right?
Can you tell me more about that?
I have for much of my life dealt with mental health challenges, right? I'm a person that has PTSD, right? We often think of people with PTSD as being folks coming back from wars, right? Coming from Afghanistan.
Yeah, like
right?
fallen soldiers and wheelchairs and like can't hear like airplanes and stuff like that.
Right. But understand that there's a war that occurs for folks just living life, right? For context, right? I'm also a person that grew up being abused, right? I was all looking for words, but I'm like, we're just gonna put it out, right? Like being abused. I got my butt beat in ways that children shouldn't have their butts beat.
Trust me, I know.
Right?
I get it.
To be a kid and to be beaten like a man,
it's not right.
It's not right. And there's nothing a child can do that warrants, that excuses, that makes that behavior right.
Totally agree.
Right?
Totally agree.
I'm blessed because I never became a violent person, though. Right?
Like that tends to happen.
Because it could go one of two ways, right? You could either become violent or you could become incredibly passive.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
I became incredibly passive. Right? I learned to censor myself at a very young age. Right?
So not only are you censoring your gender, but then you're also having to censor your personality, your mouth.
Right, my voice.
Your voice.
Right,
wow.
My personality, yes, that as well. Right, like everything needs to be turned down or turned off.
And so that's that war you're mentioning.
That's that war. Right, right. Like learning to, like, how do you navigate a world like that? Right. I became a runaway at 15. Right, went back, to where I was. And almost to the date, a year later, I was out again, right? Wow. Because I got hit in the head with a cast iron skillet. And if y'all know what a cast iron skillet is, people should not get hit in the head with that.
That's for cooking and cooking only.
For cooking and cooking only, right? Yeah, you oil the oil and everything, but that oil don't make it slide off your body or head, right? No. It don't work like Vaseline. It don't work like Vaseline. You do the Vaseline oil, right? Don't work like that. But yeah, there was a real war, right? Like there was a real war, and I was in battle in the best way I knew how, right?
So in your spirit of recovery, what does that look like? Is that attending fellowships? Is that attending groups? What does that look like for you?
So I see a therapist, right? So talk therapy is a real thing, and it really, really works, right?
Black people go to therapy, y'all.
Black people, please go to therapy, right? And that's only a small component of it, right? Like the talk therapy should trigger the thought processes, right? That outside talking should trigger the inside talking, because it's that inside talking that will get your ass.
That's true,
right?
It's true.
So I see a therapist. I do groups. Right. I contemplate, right? Like you got to remind yourself. Well, first, sometimes you got to inform yourself that you're worthy, right? You got to inform yourself that you're worthy of being happy, and by happy I mean at peace, right? At a sense of contentment, right?
And that in itself, to have to go through such a crazy spiritual, mental, emotional war and then come out on the other side and have all of this insight, it's just a clear reflection of the work you've done in your recovery. Right. And that's beautiful.
Right. Thank you. Right. But, and again, by the grace of God, right? By the grace of the universe, by the grace of it all, right? I don't look like what I've been through.
Amen.
Right.
Amen.
Knock on wood.
Maybe one day, 50 years down the line, we'll look a little tired.
A little tired, right?
But then
we'll just take a nap. We will take a nap.
So let me ask you this: since we're talking about the stigmas, especially around the transgender, or let's just say LGBT community, have you had any experiences with homelessness?
Oh my gosh, I've spent so much of my life homeless, right? If I'm honest, right? Like if I'm not, I won't say honest. If I'm clear, right? Homelessness started for me when I was 15, right? When I got on a Greyhound bus and I went across the country, right? And I had nowhere to go, right? You don't think of it that way, right? Homelessness is, I think, kind of like addiction in some ways, in that it is, do I want to say it's it's not pervasive, it's sneaky. Yeah. Right? Because it's a thing that is going on, but you don't know that that's
gradually over time.
Right. So even in like the later years of my teen years, right, I'm couch surfing. I don't know I'm homeless. Like my ass is silly as heck, right? Because I don't think of myself as homeless, but the reality is that I was homeless, right? And then, going ahead, and I mean homeless, like on Skid Row, homeless,
like
right,
downtown LA,
wow. Right, no man's land,
wow,
right.
Guys, that we are sitting in her beautiful apartment, so she is no longer on Skid Row, right? No. Which is another reflection of the work that you've done. No, but I'm sorry I cut you off.
No, but that, I mean, this is this is a milestone, right? Because before here, I was homeless, right? I was in a shelter, right? I had case management and things that come along with, if you so choose, right, homelessness.
And see, you just said something very important, I think. And you said, if you so choose, right? And I think that it's important for you to let the community and the world know that you don't have, if you're in that spot, if you're in that space, it doesn't mean that it's permanent.
It does not.
It does not mean that you have to be there for the rest of your life.
It does not.
Right? Like, you are a living example of what hope looks like. Right? For the people that are currently there now.
Right. And understand that hope wavers. Right? That hope is hard to hold on to. Right? I mean, if my therapist could tell you, but he can't, for HIPAA. How many times I cried the entire therapy session, right? Because I was like, this is never going to end. And do I even deserve this? Right? Do I even deserve
more,
right? I mean, it's been a real shitty life at that point, right? Like, I'm not having a shitty life, right? I don't want to confuse it, right?
Right. But then.
But at that time, right?
Especially from where your perspective was at that time.
Right. Like, is a shitty life just what I'm destined for, right? Like, some people are destined for affluence. Perhaps I was destined for, like, a poop life. Not true, right? It's part of the work, though.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
It's part of the work. The work of informing yourself that you are
worthy. Yeah.
Right? That there is help. Right? That there is an other side, right? And again, by the grace of, I made it to the other side, and I don't take it for granted.
Thank God you made it.
Thank God I made it.
All right, that was great. Lots of insight, lots of hope. My next question is, once again, on the topic of the stigma around the LGBT community, especially the transgender community. Have you had encounters, or what's been your experience with sex work? Because you know that's what they say, that all transgender people are prostitutes or sex workers.
So prayerfully, right? Blessedly, that has not been my experience.
Wow.
Right? I am an employed person.
Employed.
Employed.
That means you get a paycheck.
I get a paycheck.
I mean, you clock in and clock out.
Yeah, though, right?
Yeah.
I go to work, I put forth effort, and I produce, right? Sometimes I'm hard on myself about that production, you know, but nonetheless, it happens. It takes place, right? And you know, and I'm not perfect, right? Like, I'm figuring out what budgeting looks like, right? Like, I'm figuring out what things look like, but I am not and have not been. And let me also say that, understand that nay, don't say no crap about folks that do that work.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Because let's keep it clear. Let's be clear, right? Many of the girls are forced into that line of work.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Because, for a variety of reasons, right? But largely because folks put folks out.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. And then
I hope y'all heard me. Folks put folks out.
Yep.
And that's silly because where is out? There really is no out. You just say go outside. Right? But you're still together. Because you can't get off the planet.
Nope.
Right?
Well, you can.
I mean, you can.
You don't want that.
But well, okay. For real.
Right. Right.
For real. Right.
Wow.
So a lot of girls are forced into that line of work, right? And that's some collective work. That's some stuff we got to work on together.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree.
Because there's one human population.
One.
Right?
You said that.
And we're all configured differently. Right? We got to get away from these ideas that there's a this and a this and that's it. Right? There's a spectrum for everything.
That's right.
Rainbows have spectrums.
That's right.
Why can't humans have spectrums?
I believe they do.
Right? I believe they do too. Hot dog.
All right, so we're going to lighten it up a little bit, but I just want to say thank you for that transparency. You know, that's huge. Because people need to hear this.
Yeah.
People need to hear your story,
Yeah.
right? Because there's a girl sitting somewhere confused, lost, possibly homeless, possibly having a mental, emotional war, spiritual war, and they need to know that there's a way out. And you are a living example of that.
And you're not alone. And you are important. And you're not important because I said so. And you're not important because anybody else said so. You're important because God put you here, and God is the only thing, the only him, her, them, they that don't make mistakes.
Preach. You heard that. Straight from Nay. Nay say.
They say.
All right. So what are your passions in life? What would you say if you could have 24 hours, right, to do absolutely anything in the world, no matter the cost, no matter the destination, you just had full power to live out 24 hours of your dreams, what would that day look like from morning to night?
Yeah. Wait a minute, that wasn't good enough.
There it goes.
Yes. You know what I've wanted to do for a really long time? I want to be in a musical.
Musical, I love that.
Like a musical.
Okay.
I wanna sing.
Hey.
right? And do a little dancing.
Do a little dancing.
Do a little dancing.
Do a little dancing.
Yeah. With this one, right? Y'all think we got synergy. But yeah.
I know it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it should even be called 24 Hours.
24 hours. That's your
24
musical.
hours. That's the musical. 24
So
hours.
you would be on stage performing the full 24 hours.
Maybe not the full 24 hours.
All right. So let's say that's 8. Let's say that's 8 hours of the day.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So you got a whole another 16 hours.
You know, I really love body work, right? Like, I love massage and acupuncture, right? And I think I would actually really enjoy getting a bunch of body work, right? Doing some meditating, right? And then, you know what? I would want to have a fierce old long table meal.
Like the Last Supper kind of?
Like a Last Supper, right? Right? But just some damn good food, right? And all love. Like, it's all love on the table, right? In the chairs specifically, it's all love, right? So yeah. So I spent some time cooking because I'd like to contribute to that.
Okay.
To that culinary goodness.
Right. Making magic in the kitchen.
Because we gotta eat. We should enjoy it sometimes. Right?
All the time.
All the time, really. Shoot.
That's beautiful.
Shoot. And I want fried chicken on that. Not solely.
Y'all heard that?
Not solely.
Y'all heard that?
Like the good fried.
The good fry.
The good fried.
Right.
Like grandmama used to do.
Or auntie.
Or auntie. Right. Like the ones from, like, I don't know, Raleigh.
Somewhere in the deep south.
In the deep south. Don't bring me no crocodile, no shit like that.
We don't want no pink chicken.
We don't want no pink chicken. I want it fried.
What did you say the other day? You don't want no chicken sushi?
I don't want no chikushi.
Chikushi.
We don't want none of that.
I love that.
No. I want it fried.
All right. So you got 2 more questions.
Okay.
The next question is, what does the world need to know about the trans experience that they don't already know? Not you, just the trans experience in general.
I would say that the world should know that the trans experience literally is a microcosm of the larger experience, right? For context, right? I was in a training one time I was in training, and I came out as trans, right? And another Black or African American person began to kind of passive aggressively put me down, right? They kind of they took away or attempted to kind of diminish perhaps the fact that I'm still a Black person, right?
All of a sudden you're like ostracized.
All of a sudden I'm ostracized, right? But by a Black person, right? So you've got 2 people in this I don't know, in this group of people who have been historically oppressed, historically ostracized, historically objectified, and etc., etc., right? And one of them does that very thing to another one, right? So know that we should all be kind to one another, right?
Absolutely.
Because if we can make kindness a social norm, I mean genuine, authentic kindness, like I'm kind to you because you exist, because God made you, right? That will seep into the microcosms, right? Because I still suffer all the same things.
Yeah.
That
everybody,
right?
like the next person.
Just like the next person.
Right.
Right. Even within the LGBTQ community, right? Like, let's be honest, racism, prejudice, it exists even within
the
the
smaller
LGBT
sub-communities.
the smallest sub-communities,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
But the way, in my own opinion, the way we eliminate that is by eliminating those things in the larger community,
Absolutely.
right? In the human community, right?
You heard that, you guys? Just be kind.
Be kind.
Be kind.
Authentically,
Right?
right?
Not for an exchange.
Not for an exchange.
Right? Not because you
No.
want something back.
No.
Just be kind.
You know, I learned once that, or I'm going to say, I had a revelation, right? That nice is contrived, but kind comes from here.
Mic drop. Beautiful. Wow. Love that. Love that.
So don't be nice, be kind.
Be kind. All right, and the last question is kind of similar to the question we just asked, but what does the world need to know about Nay?
About Nay got something to say. That's what they needed, that Nay got something to say. Okay. That Nay just trying to do Nay thing, right? Like, Nay is an artist at heart, right? And I just want to live my artful life, right? Nay got a little dog that Nay loves.
Mm-hmm. And
right?
she's cute.
Cute as a button. Actually, buttons ain't that cute. Well, some buttons are cute. Right? Nay likes things simple, right? Like, Nay is complex and simple, right? Like, you're probably complex and simple too,
Right.
Right. Yeah, I'm just trying to do my thing. I'm just trying to dance this little dance they call life, right? And be authentic about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to be heartfelt about it, right? I want to be present-centered, right? There's a reason present got two meanings, right? Like, there's the present, there's a present, and then there's a present that's right now, and you spell them the same. Isn't that crazy, right? Because ain't the present a present?
Woo! Ain't the present a present?
Ain't the present
Woo!
a present?
That was good. That was profound. Wow. Nay, thank you so much for letting me help navigate you through this YouTube world and give YouTube, and not just YouTube, the whole world, an opportunity to take a glance at you and to explore you and experience you and all your authenticity and all your beautiful colors. This has been such a pleasure, and I know that the world is going to want a whole lot more of what Nay got to say.
Because Nay got shit to say. Yeah.
So I assume, Nay, you're going to be back real soon with some more Nay say.
Oh, Nay's coming back. Nay's coming back. And I've had an amazing time.
Great.
Right?
Great.
Like, this is the pop-off, y'all.
I love it.
And I got goosebumps.
Hey.
Y'all can't see me, but I'm perforated.
I can see you. I can co-sign. She
Oh
got
my
goosebumps.
Yeah. We're just going to have a good time.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
And we're going to have some really good conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to do some fun stuff.
That's right.
Right?
Yep.
Like,
Absolutely.
Because I'm here for it. I'm here for you. Right? And I got some messages, right? I got some messages that flow through and out, right? And we're going to do that.
That's right. That's right. Thank you, YouTube. Catch us on the next one.